We're here talking to Rick Garrett, the author of The Duping of America, How We Have Been Deceived into Thinking Abortion is Acceptable, and scientific, legal, moral, and philosophical proof that it is not. You can get this book from, again, the Amazon, Barnes & Noble. And this is, I think this is timely that this book came out, because right now it's as of the pro-life movement, we have the wind behind our back, because the most pro-death administration has just been defeated. They're gone.
Yes.
And I would say that the most pro-life friendly administration is here, top heavy with a lot of Catholics, by the way, and not fake Catholics. I know the caliber of these Catholics, and so right now's the time to celebrate and rejoice. So I'm glad you came out with this book. Paul, do you have any questions for Rick?
Yeah, so that's you mentioned, Jess, at the beginning of the show that Donald Trump is the most pro-life president we've had, and he is. He's not perfect in his viewpoint, as we know, but certainly he is the far better choice than anybody else who's out there. And we thank God for that. So my question to Rick would be, with Roe v. Wade being overturned, is pro-life work still necessary?
Oh, definitely. More so than before even. In the months leading up to the overturn of Roe, it was very interesting. We saw both pro-life organizations and anti-life organizations jockeying for legal position. In anticipation of the overturn, each side was already preparing for what the new environment would look like after Roe fell. I was warning people. I didn't want to be, rain on your parade kind of person, but I was warning people that if this happens, it's going to be a victory more or less in name only, because what the overturning did was send the decision to keep abortion legal or not back to the states. And so I predicted that there was going to be, instead of one national battle, there are now going to be 50 national battles in each state capital. And that's what turned out to be. So we knew it was going to happen. And as soon as Roe fell, for example, just to give you an example, in Planned Parenthood facilities in San Bernardino and Riverside counties, in the months after Roe fell, the number of abortions performed there went up by 700 to 800%.
Wow.
We saw an influx of women from out of state, from newly restricted states, because once Roe fell, the more pro-life states had been, like I say, preparing their legal procedures to instill life amendments in their state legislature.
That is absolutely amazing.
And so what happened was, here in California, where our governor declared California an abortion sanctuary, he even put up billboards in restricted states saying, "Come to California for your abortion vacation. We will pay your travel expenses, we'll pay your hotel, and we will even pay for the procedure to kill your child." And then he had the gall at the bottom of the billboard to put a scripture quote about caring for your neighbor.
How diabolical. How diabolical.
Is that?
Wow.
Yeah, diabolical is the word. And by the way, if you don't believe Satan exists, walk the halls of a Planned Parenthood clinic. He's there, and he is enjoying himself.
Oh yeah, well that's a sanctuary. Rick, to be honest with you, it really is the Catholic influence that toppled Roe versus Wade. It was majority Catholic Supreme Court justices. And also, when you look at the people that are working and volunteering at crisis pregnancy centers, they're generally run by Catholics and Catholic volunteers. And when you see people praying in front of abortion mills, that's what they are, killing mills, okay? Generally speaking, it's Catholics that are praying there. So not to pat ourselves on the back, but the Catholics understand that this is the new civil rights issue of our day. we understand that if life is meaningless, then everything's meaningless. And here's another thing. I don't know if you talked about it in your book. In my opinion, I actually think that the abortion industry, this killing industry, it's racist. And I don't use that word often. I don't really like that word, but it is because when you go to the Planned Parenthood websites and Family Planning Associates, and you look at the little dots as to where their killing centers are at, most of them, like 80% of them, are in Hispanic communities and in Black communities. Is that a fair statement as far as your research shows, Rick?
It's definitely, I mentioned it in my book, something like 75% of Planned Parenthood and other abortion facilities are located within a 15-minute walk of a minority neighborhood. And so you can, and also I spend quite a bit of time in my book delving into Planned Parenthood itself. One chapter I devote to them is called Planned Parenthood, the Masters of Deception. And if you look at the founding of Planned Parenthood, it was founded by a person who wanted to cleanse society of Blacks, basically.
Yeah, she was also a racist. She was,
definitely.
Yeah, she was a eugenicist, right?
Going back real quick for a second, Jesse, to what you said about Catholics leading the pro-life charge, I have also found that that's definitely the case. But far and away, the biggest number of people who are out there in front of the clinics, who are doing the work in the pregnancy resource centers, are Catholics. However, I have encountered a lot of pushback from Catholics. There are a very significant proportion of Catholics who say that they are still, quotes, pro-choice. So we are working and fighting within our own church, and I can go on more about that.
In
fact,
those are Soros-funded organizations, but here's the good news, and then I'll let you respond. Donald Trump and JD Vance have defunded Planned Parenthood. They were receiving, I forget how many hundreds of $millions a year of taxpayer money.
$600 million.
There you go. So that's good. That's been defunded. And then Planned Parenthood and these other family planning associates have also received some undisclosed amounts of money through USAID. That's also going to be defunded and toppled, and that's going to be yesterday's news. So I'm telling you right now, we've basically, God has allowed this administration to stick the stake into the heart of Dracula, in my opinion, because if we defund the money, this industry is over, because they're not going to volunteer, because they only do this because they're paid.
Yeah, Jess, we have to use the word Catholic in a way where we understand that many Catholics are so poorly formed. They may be baptized Catholics, and that categorizes them as Catholic, but they are certainly not Catholic in their daily lives. They are certainly not submitting to the authority of the perennial Catholic Church. Yeah. So, there's a war going on. That war's been going on for, there's good seed and there's bad seed growing up together. And we just have to keep proclaiming the truth so that, and pray for those who really are, have demonstrated even though they are Catholics by virtue of their baptism, they are far from Catholic. And Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi are perfect examples.